One of the reasons I was so happy that you agreed to chat with me in this project is because I see you everywhere that has to do with AACFB, the conferences, commercial break, anything that has to do with any of the education committee, anything that I'm involved in, your name is a part of. And I was joking before we started recording, and then I held back because I wanted to save it for anyone that would be watching this front and center. But I know that your title is probably in your signature somewhere, but in my mind, you have become Monica, all things AACFB, woman who can do anything, Harper. That's your title to me. So what is your title at AACFB, and what do you do if you had to write a job summary?
Well, my technical title is executive director, but as you mentioned, probably chief bottle washer and, and all things AACFB, because I do have my hands in everything. And, there is a cycle to it, but every day is different. So probably most people would recognize me from the events. So we do have 2 events every year, our annual conference and our commercial financing expo. So there's a lot of planning that goes into that, into both of those. And we're doing things in front of the scenes, but also behind the scenes to get ready for those events. So a lot of it, there's a big chunk that's event planning. There's also financial management. I work with our accountant, our treasurer, our board of directors, making sure that we have a good budget and that we're staying on target with our budgeting for the year. So every month I do a little bit of financial planning as well. Then quarterly we have our newsletter. So that is involves getting everything collected and edited and put into our Com Partners platform. And then getting it rolled out. So everything with those has kind of a cycle. Then we have new things that come along, like our scholarship program that we just rolled out. We have membership initiatives that come up at different times during the year. We're doing social media, we're doing blast emails. So like I said, every day is something different. And that's actually one of the things that I love about my job. I don't know if I would be happy in a job where I did the same thing over and over and over again every day. So I kind of like being a jack of all trades.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you'd have to be to do what you do. And then, like you said, not only are you constantly doing the things that have these cycles, but you have to constantly be learning, it seems to me. And it's amazing how quickly you learn. I know I've been on calls with you in the groups, and someone will have this idea of something that's never been done before, and you jump in there and you say, yep, I'll have an idea for that tomorrow. And I can just see you in my mind. I'm imagining you going out and literally absorbing this, a year's worth of educational content on whatever it is, video or, writing and editing, and just you learn it all of a sudden, and then you pull it all together. And that has been amazing. I would say mesmerizing to me at times. It's like, I just don't know how she can learn so much so fast to accommodate so many requests, because I've been on the board of directors for several different things. And usually what you get is some resistance or feedback to these new ideas, because it takes time and effort to learn them and to implement them. And more times out of not, I feel like you've said, yeah, we can do that, or let's see what we can do with that. I really don't know of any time you've said, no, we can't do that at all. And I know, because I'm one of those people that'll pull those harebrained ideas out of the air and say, hey, let's just try this. You're like, yeah, let's try it. And that's what's so great about AACFB, is that it gives so much great content, but that it stays up to date and it's always evolving and dynamic, which makes it of a great value to the members and to the community at large. But it can't happen without someone like you behind the scenes, so to speak, like you said, but also in the forefront, kind of driving that ship forward. No one likes to be a part of a community that's stale, and I just feel like you've really done a lot of that. And maybe you didn't know getting on here I was going to be commending you so much and saying, oh man, I think she's great, it's more about learning about you. But as we talk, you're just kind of solidifying what I thought was the case anyway, which is you're a real integral part to AACFB being so great. And I think the dynamic is a part of that, and you're a big part of that. So how did you get to be in that position? You know, it sounds like you do a lot of learning on the job, but you have to have some innate skill set, like you said, a desire for learning. Like, what led you to get to where you're at right now with that?
You know, they don't really have a college program for association management. It's not something that I even had on my radar necessarily when I was in college. I went to school for double majored in fine art and communications. So, which both of them have actually served me well in this position. But shortly after graduating college, I went to work for FSA Management Group, and they were an association management company. And I just felt at home. And the more I learned about what they did, the more interested I was, and I was hooked. I never looked back. So I've been in association management for about 23 years. And I started off in membership. So I started off as a membership director for the Food Service Consultant Society of International, which is still out there. And then I worked my way up to different positions in different associations. So I think I've worked in about 7 or 8 different associations. Primarily, the first ones were primarily food service related, so research chefs, in-flight food service, the American Institute of Wine and Food, a hospital food service, and then either the Kentucky Social Workers Association, and then NAELB came to us, and that became my client, and I became the executive director of the NAELB, and it just seemed to click. You know, sometimes different executive directors work for different groups, and this group really clicked for me, and it's been ever since just a good fit. So I like to think that my experience with the other clients has benefited the AACFB now. But again, every day is new. Every day is something new. So that's exciting to me.
Absolutely. And I mean, you can tell that you were in a very heavily experienced in the customer service and the service to others. Any industry that has a service to some outside customer or group base, because you just have that type of management style, recognizing that we're all trying to serve our customers. And you're trying to help us do that more efficiently by being an organization that gives the tools to do that, you know, and to connect with each other in doing that. So it's impossible to ignore that you already had that skill set and that you've been honing it for several years. And I think, don't they say that it takes 10 years to be an expert at something?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know if I'm an expert at I'm sort of a jack of all trades. So in a way, an expert, but always things are changing and there's new things. And so it's hard to say that anybody's an expert in this because the game is always changing.
Well, that and so I'm gonna give you more acclaim here, and I'm just gonna say you're an expert, and you're like me. I'll say I'm an expert at what I do because I've been doing it almost 20 years now. So that's an expert times 2. You're an expert times 2 plus some. And it's you know, like I said, evident. It's such a joy to work with you on anything. So then, of course, we have to know what is the best and the most challenging part of what you do. I mean, maybe that's one and the same.
Yeah, a little bit. It's well, as I mentioned, everything's changing and you're constantly learning. And while that's exciting, sometimes it's disconcerting because you want to be a resource and you want to. I am conditioned to just say yes first and figure it out later.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's a challenge because you'll say yes And then the more research you do, you're like, gosh, this really is going to be probably more than we want to get into. And I hate to go back and say, this probably isn't going to work after I've said yes. But I'm always looking for solutions. And when I have trouble finding a solution for something, that's hard for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a little bit of both. The catch-22 there.
Yeah, I understand, and you're repeating what I said about the fact that it sounds to me like the part I enjoy, and I know a lot of people enjoy, is that you're so accommodating. But one of the things maybe we need to remember when we're working with you or anyone who's as passionate about what they do as you are, is to remember that sometimes our crazy ideas, they aren't feasible. And once they are looked into, they can't be followed through on, and not only not be okay with that, but to maybe even help find the solutions and things and be more of a partner in doing that. And I'm not saying I'm not saying anyone doesn't, but I'm just saying, that is a lot of pressure to put on someone when you just come out of the gate with some, new idea, but then also don't have that realistic expectation that might be, we're going to do the best we can to do it. And Monica is going to beat herself up if she can't get it done. So, to say, hey, Mon, it's okay. I totally get it. What can I do to help? Or, what other ideas would be feasible to do, and to take the reins on moving another direction, because I know I did not think about that before. I'm constantly thinking she's going to say yes and find a way, not ever realizing that you really do want to. And if you can't, that's hard for you. Harder for you probably than for us. We didn't have any time invested in looking it up. We just thought we might want to do it,
Right.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. So then the last thing I wanted to ask you about is, so what's in the future for you? And I know you've got a lot of things that you just finalized. We just got through the conference, and I know things are in cycle. We're obviously working up on the next commercial break because we're doing this interview, the front and center. So next year, and with COVID and everything going on, what's a couple things that's exciting to you that you want to start working on and getting out of 2020?
Well, one of the things that having to pivot to virtual is, in addition to a crash course in how to run a virtual conference, it did kind of speed us along. We've been talking about doing some hybrid types of events for a while now. There's been some drawbacks to that with some of our hotel contracts, honestly, that were preventing us from bringing in our own outside AV people. But I would say that I'm looking forward to trying to integrate. I think hybrid is the new future. And I'm looking forward to being able, if we can get in person, but to also have that hybrid aspect of it so that we can reach more of our members, the members that either for whatever reason I know we just gave the President's Award to Neil Roth, and he and I had many conversations about the fact that he was not in good health to be able to travel, and he would have jumped at the chance to attend a hybrid event or something that was streaming. And I think part of his legacy is that now we're better positioned to do that. And I'll be excited to see that come to fruition.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And that's a great example of not just knowing that it's heading that way, but why it should, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I'm excited too. And I'm obviously going to be on board with helping out with anything you need. I'm just a phone call or email away, and I know you are because I use it all the time. Is there anything that you'd want to tell anyone that is not in the AACFB but might look to join the AACFB, or maybe the potential members now? This is your time to say, hey, whatever it is, that you want everyone to maybe hear that they may not read or take the time to jump into right away, but would be a message you'd want them to hear and understand.
If someone is not a member, and whether they are just getting into the industry or they've been in the industry for a while, I think there's something for everybody, and there is a community in this organization, whether people know each other personally or not, whether they see each other in person at the conferences or not. There are still connections being made through the association, and we're here to support everyone, no matter what level they are in their journey, whether they're just getting into it and they really need a lot of training and support, or they've been around a while and they want to pass that on to somebody else. We had a membership call yesterday where we have one of our past presidents, and he's going to start reaching out to our new people, at the 6-month mark, to make sure that they're getting what they need from the association. So I would encourage, if you haven't tried it out, if you haven't been a member, to try it out and get in, see what we're all about. If there's something that you wanted to get out of the association, but you're not seeing that or you're not getting that, let us know, because like I said, I always try to say yes. So if you give me the feedback that you're not getting something, I will try to find a way to get it for you.
Or you'll be sad, right?
Absolutely.
That's so true of you. And my apologies for cutting you off there, but isn't that what we've been saying this whole time is, what good does it do to say, well, I'm probably not going to get this, or I'm not getting that, when we're obviously saying anything that you want or isn't here or that you think you can't get, speak up and make it something that can be remedied and make it a better association, something that's better all the time, because we are constantly always adding. And so that's what I love about you, is that you can't deviate from that, because it's your core being to be of service and to help everyone in this organization and in this great industry. And it shines through in every single thing you do, in every email and every response. It's the whole "we can" movement. Just, we can do whatever we need to do to make this better. And gosh, you're just one of my favorite people. So I really do truly, genuinely appreciate the time I got to spend with you. And the people in the organization, our members, are lucky that they're going to get to see this and know more about you. But I truly feel happy going into the weekend, having got to spend a little bit of time with you. I feel like on a personal note, but of course professional as well. It's been fun, and I've looked forward to it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And I really enjoy our conversations, and I hope we get to see each other next year.
Me too, but if not, virtually,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. Well, I appreciate you so much. Yeah, you too.